So today we are going to see some items in passive voice. Already we discussed all the tenses and we have seen how to change, sentences with modal auxiliaries into passive voice. When we have will, shall, can, may, should, would, could, might, and must, ought to. When we have all these modal auxiliaries, what is the process of changing them into passive voice? For example, should be plus V3, could be plus V3, would be plus V3, might be plus V3, must be plus V3, ought to be plus V3. Like that, we have already seen. Now there is one more thing, that is when you have a modal auxiliary and perfect tense, what should we do? That is what we are going to learn now. Especially when you have a perfect tense, you must have understood by now. Whenever you have a perfect tense, what is the process? We simply use been. When we have, for example, they should, this is only modal auxiliary, they should. But when you have perfect tense, they should have solved, they should have solved the problem. Suppose you have modal auxiliary and also followed by perfect tense. In case of that, what is that we are going to do is, whenever we have perfect tense, simply what do? We use been. When we have perfect tense, we use been. When we have only modal auxiliary should, for example, they should solve the problem. The problem should be solved by them. They should solve the problem. The problem should be solved by them. Now we have a different one, that is modal auxiliary plus perfect tense we have. Then what we simply do is, we take, the process is same, the problem as it is. After that, whatever modal auxiliary is there will continue. Should, sorry, the problem should, after that you have perfect tense, have, should have. So whenever we have perfect tense, we use been in passive voice. So the problem should have been, and V3 form, solved by them. That's it. They should have solved the problem. The problem should have been solved by them. For example, one more sentence I'll give you. She might have faced she might have faced problems. For example, she might have faced problems. Then we begin with problems. Then after that, same modal auxiliary might. After that, have as it is. And then because it is perfect tense, we use been. And then V3 as it is, faced. Problems might have been faced by her. Now you answer some. The librarian must have issued more than 2 books. The librarian must have issued more than 2 books. Then more than 2 books must have been issued by the librarian. For example, you have one more sentence. The watchman should not have stopped the visitors. The watchman should not have stopped the visitors. Now we'll take the visitors should not have been stopped by the watchman. She might have forgotten the keys. The keys might have been forgotten by her. The film star could have donated some money. Answer, Srujana. The film star could have donated some money. Srujana, answer.
ఒకసారి చెప్పండి సార్. ద ఫిల్మ్ స్టార్.
The film star could have donated some money. Some money.
Some money
Could
have
been yeah
could have been
donated
by
them by the film stars.
film star.
Yes. Now, one more sentence. The culprit must have destroyed the evidence. Sivalila. The culprit must have destroyed the evidence. Sivalila. Pushami, you tell the answer. The culprit must have destroyed the evidence. The evidence.
Sir, can you,
The evidence must.
the evidence must destroyed by
Must have been.
the.
The evidence must have been destroyed by the culprit. Manyam. The principal would have excused you. The principal would have excused you. Manyam.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah. The principal would have excused you. You
would have been excused by the principal.
Excused by the principal. Yes. You need not have booked the tickets. You need not have booked the tickets. Pratyusha. You need.
Sir, once repeat, sir.
You need not have booked the tickets.
The tickets
Yeah.
not have been.
No, need not you take as it is. Need not.
Did not have been
Booked
booked
by you. So the tickets need not have been booked by you.
by you.
Next, Vivek. The driver should not have violated the rules. The driver should not have violated the rules.
The rule
Should not,
not
yeah, should not
The driver should not have
violated the rules.
violated by the rules.
violated.
Yeah,
Violated meanings,
violate means to break. So the rules should not have been violated by the driver. So we take the object, the rules, then what is the modal auxiliary? Should not, then have, then been, then violated. The traffic rules should not have been violated by the driver. That's how you will change all perfect tenses. The residents of the colony ought to have planted some trees. The residents of the colony ought to have planted some trees. Who would answer? Vasanta is there? Vasanta? Harshavardhan?
Both are you not joined, sir?
Okay, right. So who would answer this? The residents of the colony ought to have planted some trees. Take some trees, then ought to is the modal auxiliary, as it is you use. Some trees ought to have been planted by the residents of the colony. So what are we doing? What is the process? The process is we are continuing the same modal auxiliary that is there in the active voice, and then since it is perfect tense, what are we doing? We are retaining that have as it is, and actually between have and V3 we are using been. They should have solved the problem. The problem should have been solved by them. She might have faced the problems. The problems might have been faced. So in perfect tense, what we do is simply we use been. That's what we are going to do here. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now let's go to interrogative sentences, because interrogative sentences are how to convert interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentences. As you know, interrogative sentences are of two types. What are they? One is with modal auxiliaries, the other is with WH words. What are the WH words? What, where, when, why, who, how, which, how much, how long, how far, how many, and so on. They are all WH words. Whereas interrogative sentences are made with helping verbs also. For example, she is writing a book. Then if you want to convert that into question, is she writing a book? Are you listening to grammar? Am I teaching passive voice? So when you are using modal auxiliary in the first place, not modal auxiliary, any auxiliary verb, it will be treated as interrogative sentence. So interrogative sentences are of two types. Now, let us first deal with WH words. For example, let us take with who encourages you. I'm using simple present tense. Who encourages you? Now here who is subject, encourages is verb, and you is object, as you know. Who encourages you? So when you have who, what we do is who is always converted as by whom. In passive voice, it will be converted as by whom. Wherever you have who, by whom. Then after that, you know, because it is an interrogative sentence, in the interrogative sentence, what is the order? First, helping verb comes, right? Then what is the helping verb for you? What is the helping verb for you in present tense? Are. By whom are you? Then what is the V3 form of encourages? Encourage. Encouraged. So, by whom are you encouraged? See, that is how it is changed into passive voice. What did we do here? Who is changed as by whom. After that, who encourages you? This is in simple present tense. Now, when you change that into passive voice, by whom, you know, because it is in the present tense, we use present be form, that is and are, because you is plural. By whom are you encouraged? If you say by whom you are encouraged, it is you know, wrong. In the interrogative sentence, always helping verb should come first. By whom are you encouraged? I shall give you one more sentence. You try to change that. Who helps them? Change this. Who helps them? Who helps them? Yeah. Simple. By whom?
By whom?
Ah.
Whom are helped by?
By whom are they?
By whom are they helped by?
Allah by endukinka.
Uh,
Already
by
you are
whom?
saying by whom here.
Okay,
Who
okay.
helps them? By whom?
By whom?
By whom? Are helping verb you are using. By whom
Whom are
are they
helped?
helped? That's it. In the first sentence, by whom are you encouraged? Here, by whom are they helped? For example, you have past tense. Who misguided her? Who misguided her, for example. Now it is simple past tense. Who misguided her?
By whom?
Yeah. By
What?
whom?
Was she
Yeah.
misguided?
By whom was she misguided? Yeah. By whom was she misguided? See, because this is past tense, we have used was here. That too, immediately after she, which helping verb would you use? Be form was. By whom was she misguided? One more sentence. Who told them? Who told them? Hmm. Who told them? By whom
Were they
were they
told them?
told? That's it. By whom were they told? Who told them? By whom were they told? Who informed them? By whom were they informed? So that's how you are going to change all WH words, especially with who. Suppose you have whom, then what do we do? When you have who, fine. You changed it as by whom. Suppose you have whom, then what do? For example, you have a sentence like this. Whom do you favor? Whom do you favor? You have a sentence like this. Whom do you favor? Then try. Actually, you know, when you have whom will change as who. Who. After this, you know, where is your no? Where is your object? You. Okay. Whom do you favor? Okay, your object is you. When your object is you, what do? Whom, who, because this is present tense. Okay, do. So what is the present be form? Is. Who is favored? Who is favored by you? Whom do you favor? Who is favored by you? Of course, you know, in spoken English, we won't use sentences of this kind. We don't say who is favored by you. Generally, we say whom do you favor? Who teaches you? Who encourages you? Like mostly, you know, we try to use active voice only. We won't be using passive voice. But just because you want them to learn, I'm just showing how to change active to passive. I mean, interrogative sentences. But don't worry much when you are not able to do it. For example, whom, one more sentence, let us try. Whom does she consult? Whom does she consult? Change. Yeah, try at least. Whom will become who, right? After that, where is your object? She. What is the be form that you can use? is. Who is? After that, what is the V3 form? Consulted. Who is consulted by her? Whom does she consult? Who is consulted by her? Either you ask whom does she consult, or you can ask who is consulted by her. Both of them have got the same meaning only. But most often in interrogative sentences, we ask straight questions. We won't bother much about these, interrogative sentences in passive voice. For example, one more you see with why. Why are you disturbing the students? Suppose you have a sentence like this. Why are you disturbing the students? Which tense is it? Continuous tense. Whenever you have continuous tense, what do? In continuous tense, you will use being.
Being.
What be form we use? Being. So we begin with, because it is why, we begin with why, then why are. Who is being disturbed here? Students.
Students.
Why are the students? Why are the students being? Why are the students being disturbed by you? But does anyone use like this? Why are the students being disturbed by you? Generally, we don't use. We say, why are you disturbing them? Why are you causing nuisance? Why are you troubling them? Like that we say. But we don't say, why are the students being disturbed by you? That is like, the other day Srujana said, a banana was eaten by me. Instead of saying that I ate a banana was eaten by me, is a kind of roundabout sentence which does not serve any purpose. There's no point in using such kind of, roundabout sentences. It doesn't serve any purpose at all. So don't worry much about such kind of interrogative sentences. In fact, most of the interrogative sentences are avoided in passive voice, because in passive voice straight away, all the tenses we use, okay, and we also use sometimes, imperative sentences, but we don't use interrogative sentences at all, because it is quite tricky. For example, are you filling the form? Are you filling up the form? Then, are you filling up the form? So first you have to take the form. So you have to say whether the form is singular or plural. It is singular. That's why, what is the verb you have to use? Is. Is the form being filled up by you? That's how we should use, but that is purely roundabout, and people would not like to use such kind of sentences in spoken English. And it has to be very straightforward. It has to be very communicative, and you have to see your targeted audience, whether they are capable enough in understanding what you communicate or not, is very important. So you have to focus more on your audience. Who is your listener? Who are your audience? Whether they have the capacity to understand long sentences or not. If they are not capable of understanding long sentences, then you have to simplify break them into simple sentences, and in fragmented simple sentences you have to communicate. And if you use too much of grammar, things become too complicated for them, and they'll not be able to understand. So as far as spoken English is concerned, language has to be very straightforward, very simple, most often you must prefer to use only simple sentences. That is the beauty of the language. Otherwise, there is no beauty of the language. So though we have so many methods of changing active to passive, passive to active, interrogative, imperative, different types of sentences are there, but they don't serve any purpose and all. Of course, it might help you only to understand when somebody has communicated such kind of things, but coming to usage, you better avoid such kind of uses. Okay, so that's all about interrogative sentences and passive voice.